Hi, welcome to Top Chef University. I'm Carla, finalist from Top Chef New York. Our first course is all about the basics, and this is Lesson 4, Knives 101. Now stay sharp and pay attention. Knives are one of the most important tools in a kitchen and often a chef's most prized possession. A high-quality, sharp knife makes most work in the kitchen much easier, but it's also much safer than a dull, poor-quality knife. These are some of the most common types of knives that you've probably seen or heard of. Here is what each of them looks like and what they're designed for. The chef's. Chef's knife is a multi-purpose knife and the one knife to have if you could only choose one. Usually 8 to 10 inches long, giving it a decent weight and leverage. It's fantastic for slicing, mincing, chopping just about anything, from herbs to vegetables to seafood and beef. The paring. The paring knife is a much smaller knife that is used for detailed work or smaller jobs such as coring, peeling, or trimming. And like the chef's knife, it is an essential in any knife collection. Santoku. The santoku, which is a Japanese term, is similar to a chef's knife, but usually slightly shorter and distinctively has a scalloped edge on the face of the blade. This helps reduce friction when slicing so things don't stick to the blade. The santoku is a very comfortable knife to use, especially when slicing up vegetables. Bread. A bread knife is a specialty knife that has a serrated edge with more pronounced teeth. This is particularly useful for cutting through tough crusts on bread, and funnily enough, at the other end of the spectrum, soft food like a tomato, as the teeth will cut through the ingredients without tearing or slipping. Boning. A boning knife has a thicker, sturdier blade. It's shorter with a narrow tip for working through tough gaps and around bones. Filleting. A filleting knife has a distinctive, flexible blade, ideal for bending against the pressure of a bone or cartilage and extracting nice, clean, boneless fillets of meat, such as fish, hence the name filleting. These are just some of the main knives you'll see around, but there are a host of others too, such as cleavers, utilities, and carving knives. But these are the essentials, and they will get you through just about any task in the kitchen. Knives can be a big investment, so it's important to take care of them and maintain a sharp edge. There are a couple of ways to do this. After each use, I like to give them a few runs on each side of the honing steel. This aligns the small teeth on a blade and will keep the knife sharper for longer. Honing is a great day-to-day habit to get into, but sooner or later, the teeth are going to wear down and you will need to give them a new edge. So I'm going to put my steel here so you can see it. And then I have my knife at a 20-degree angle. As you see, I move down the steel. And if this is new to you, you can at least see your angle. Now, so periodically, you'll need to sharpen the knives on a stone. Depending on your stone, follow the manufacturer's instructions. For this stone, I want to put a little bit of honing oil, because this oil is going to take the particles that are going to come off the knife and keep them from going into the stone. So I'm pressing at a 20-degree angle, pressing my knife from the tip to the base and turning it over. And you're going to do this about 10 times on each side. Wipe the blade down, and you'll see the fine particles that have been shaved off resulted in a new, sharper edge. So now you know what some of the different knives are and how to look after them. But what do you actually need for your kitchen and your personal needs? For me, a good quality chef's knife is a must for everyday use in 90% of your tasks. I'd also like to have a good paring knife and maybe a serrated knife for breads and soft vegetables, as there's no substitute when it comes to cutting through the crusty exterior of a delicious loaf of bread. Choose knives that feel comfortable. The knife should sit nicely in your hand, and the weight should be heavy enough to assist you when cutting through items, but not so heavy that you're labored or your movement is restricted. Now, there are many types of materials that knives are made out of, such as carbon steel, stainless steel, or even ceramic and high carbon. Each has its own characteristics. For example, some are more stain resistant and robust, but then are heavier and harder to sharpen, and others are lighter and consequently more fragile. Again, it's all about your personal needs and your style of cooking that will determine what characteristics you need in your knives. And that is Knives 101. A little later on in the course, we'll get into honing your knife skills. But we wanted to first make sure you knew what the different blades were before you started wielding them like a samurai. Take a look at the knives you already have at home and make sure they're the right ones for you. In the next lesson, we'll continue to talk gear with pots and pans.